Ladies and gentlemen, today we have an amazing video. Instead of doing the whiteboard, I decided to take it on here because this is going to be a little bit of a different style video where I'm pretty much going to be running you guys through exactly the marketing messaging behind your brand. So this video is simply going to be on psychology, right? People think you need tactics here, tactics there, tactics here. The thing that most people don't realize in business is it's not business to business. It's not business to consumer. It is people to people, right? And if you understand people and understand the market and how to tap into that psychological element of the market, then getting people to buy your stuff is going to be a very simple process, right? So pretty much this video is going to be how to position yourself as new, unique, and superior so that you can get people to take action on your offer, right? What happens a lot, and this is what you're going to find as well if you're following this 5-step series for yourself, is once you go make your offer, once you pick your market, once you pick your niche, and you actually go in and start, you're going to get resistance. And usually that resistance is because of what I'm going to be talking about in this video, because it's not quite resonating with your market. So if that resonance is there, if those two frequencies are constructive and work together, right, that resonates with your customer, then it's going to be pretty straightforward. So I have a quick video. I'm going to run you guys through a few different things. Firstly, pretty much what we're going to be talking about is number one is kind of how to position yourself amongst the competition. So what a lot of people do, just to get started here, what a lot of people do is the same thing that people do when they are pricing their services. So they go and they look at the market. So this is the market with everyone in it. And everyone is saying, hey, buy this, I'm selling this, I'm selling this. And the way they're doing it is a specific way. So let's say they all do, let's say TikTok. Let's just say I'm speaking hypothetically here. Everyone does TikTok. So let's just say everyone does TikTok. And what you do is you're out here being an observer of the market. And you're like, everyone is doing TikTok that's in my market. And these people, yeah, they're making some money. So the market share must be on TikTok. It must be TikTok. Or let's say not even TikTok. Let's say on the TikTok platform, to take it another step further, they're all doing a form of video short form, right? That's an F. Video short form. They're all doing video short form. So what you do is say, hey, everyone in my market is doing video short form. Now I'm going to do video short form, right? So I'm going to be talking about why that strategy is potentially the dumbest thing you could do, being a logical observer of the market, why that's dumb, and why you need to focus on resonance rather than copying other people in your marketplace. So instead of looking at the competition, pretty much this is a quote from one of my favorite books, Blue Ocean Strategy. Pretty much two really good quotes about not really focusing or trying to compete. Competing is failing. And if you try to compete, you've automatically subjugated yourself to be in this circle. And now you're competing on the small stuff rather than the objective problem solving things that you initially got into business for, right? So what does that mean? So how do we what do we do now if we're not going in that circle and competing? What does that even mean? How do we compete in, like, how do we even compete then? Because business is competition. Of course, I'm not denying that. But pretty much how things work is, instead of making all this stuff that everyone's doing, video short form, for example, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking at how to get people to view you subjectively from their point of view as different. So if you're a customer of one of these people, or a prospect, or someone who's viewed a video, you're going to see, okay, everyone's doing the same stuff. And then eventually the market or the demand is going to decrease. When the demand decreases, then these people are all going to get wiped out, right? So why compete when we can just learn how to bypass that and get them to view us as different? You following me? So how do we do that? So pretty much how things work is, this is your brain, obviously. With your brain, you have different processes to making decisions. So your consumers, when they are making a decision to go with you, right, or someone else, right, they are pretty much making that decision mostly subconsciously. So they're not like, oh, this person does this better and this person does this better, so I'm going to go with this person, right? It's not like that. It's mostly subconscious for the first 75%, and then that remaining 25% is conscious. So what do I mean by that? Let's say there's something presented to the brain. It goes like this. It goes up to the reptilian brain first, the reptilian brain to the limbic, the midbrain, then the midbrain to the neocortex. So that's the way kind of things, thoughts, new inputs are inputted into the brain. If the reptilian brain does one of these, cuts it off right there, then it is not getting to the neocortex or is not getting to the midbrain, right? So what does that mean? I'm going to talk to you about that. I'm going to tell you exactly what that means. So pretty much what happens is the reptilian brain is the instinctual, emotional part of the brain, right? It's the instinctual. The limbic brain is also the emotional part, the feeling, the instinctual, the subconscious part of the brain, right? With this, when new inputs come up, if they are not based on emotion or something new that spikes dopamine, then it will get cut off right here or right here, and it won't go to the neocortex, right? So if you introduce something that is the same, right, that is not new, right, it looks the same, it smells the same, you've seen it a million times before, you're just going to say, F it, whatever, I'm not going to continue. I'm not going to keep watching, or I'm not going to go in and click on this person, right? If you go outside and you look at a tree, you don't stop and stare at that tree and be like, oh my God, it's a tree. You've seen that tree a million times before and you know what it is. So you're not going to be like dumbfounded by the fact that you're looking at a tree, right? So what happens is, with the reptilian brain and the limbic brain, you're going to want to appeal emotionally. So you're going to want to make massive, bold claims, new claims, or take a claim and times it to the exponent of like a million, right? And pretty much induce curiosity. So that this is kind of the end goal of the reptilian brain and the limbic brain, is curiosity, right? If people are curious, curiosity is a very instinctual trait, because like it potentially leads to more of a reward, right? You're curious about something, you're like, maybe this does lead to this. That could give me a benefit instinctually, survivally, right? Reproductively, right? So each decision has to kind of appeal instinctually and emotionally first. And this is what most people do, is they start with that logic, right? And what that does is the reptilian brain and the limbic brain just fully cut it out. So it's like you saying, hey, I want to sell you X package. I want to sell you a $2,000 package, right? Or like going up to a girl and saying, hey, I want to sleep with you. No girl is going to just say, yeah, I want to sleep with you too. Unless like, you've paid her, right? Or in the limbic brain, if you're saying something like, hey, I'm giving away this free thing, right? Okay, free, that's emotional. People are going to like into that. Or, hey, here is my cool, emotionally spiking car collection with my cool lifestyle that I live. Listen to me now. Now you have credibility. So these pretty much, I hope this kind of makes sense. This is all emotional, reptilian and limbic. But then neocortex is logical. So if you can appeal really good emotionally, then when you make that logical claim where your neocortex actually makes the decision, your neocortex makes the logical decision to purchase with you at the end of the decision. Then once you get there logically, then you're good, right? So once you appeal emotionally, and then emotional curiosity and bold claims, new things, and emotionally you're looked at as superior, then when you come in logically, it's very easy because that logic is pre-framed, and you say, hey, you want this, I'll give you this plus a little bit more, right? Cool, done, shake my hand, take my money. Easy, right? So pretty much with this process and with this process, right, going into the market and looking at doing things differently, that's kind of like that's pretty much what we're trying to do. We're trying to do things, everyone's doing this, we're going to do this, right? How do we position ourselves as new, unique, superior? And this is one of the tactics. So the first tactic that I'm going to kind of divulge to you guys is being hidden versus standing out. So this is like a very powerful persuasion tactic. And this applies to not just marketing, not just sales, but human psychology. Remember, it's people to people, not business to business, right? So pretty much with being hidden versus standing out, what happens is when you are standing out, you are in a state of vulnerability, socially, psychologically, reproductively, instinctually, right? Because you're basically saying, here's what I offer, come get it, right? It's easy. Like everyone pretty much does that, right? But if you stay hidden, then what that does is that evokes a sense of curiosity, right? But pretty much what happens is when you stand out, when you just say, hey, this is what I offer, I'm an ad, I'm trying to sell you something, I'm trying to do this to you, that really turns people off. But if you stay hidden, right, if you don't divulge the fact that you're trying to sell anything at all, then people will get even more turned off once they do find out that you're trying to sell them something, right? So you have to have a balance between staying hidden and pretty much standing out. There has to be a balance here, and you have to understand that you can't stand out too much, but you can't stay hidden too much, right? There is kind of a balancing between these. So let's look at some examples. When you are standing out, you are pretty much just saying, hey, come look at my gym. This is just some examples for the market. But join now, free trial, join my gym, right? It's just very like in your face, hey, join, we're an ad, we're trying to sell you something. We're a gym, 50% discount. We're in your face here, right? Now, staying hidden is something like this, right? This is like obviously the far ends of the bell curve, right? Like if you have the bell curve, this is staying hidden, this is standing out. But this is staying hidden. Like, no one knows that this is like, this guy is just like, a post. It's a post, right? So what you want to do is you want to combine these two and find a middle ground where you are not like in your face like this, trying to persuade, but you're not hidden either, where you're not trying to do anything and you're not, you have no objective of the campaign, right? For example, this has an objective. Click the link and fill out the form and get access. This doesn't have an objective. This is just an organic post. So we kind of want to balance on the ends of the bell curve and find a middle ground of staying hidden, right? Staying hidden versus standing out. The more we stand out, the more we're putting ourselves on the line. And honestly, the less attractive it is. And then the more hidden we are, people just don't know that we're trying to advertise. So there's a balance that has to kind of go between those. So pretty much to explain the why behind this is attraction is an organic process, or at least you want people to think that it is an organic process and they're making the decisions. So pretty much what it is like, this is you, right? You're showing people a certain thing, let's say something, and you are showing them this and they're like, wow, that's so amazing. That's so awesome. And then you want them to fall in love with it and them to kind of come to you instead of being after the film or after that process being like, buy. You are kind of pulling the strings without them knowing that you're pulling the strings. That's kind of where you want to be. You don't want them to know that you're pulling the strings because it turns them off. So what happens is if the person like knows that they're being persuaded, or even trying, like you're trying to persuade them, they automatically lose attraction, and they get turned off. They're like, why is this guy like, or why is this person, just putting all this stuff in my face? Like, Jim, join. It looks tacky. It looks kind of cringe. It looks spammy, lowers your reputation. It's not good, right? But if you stay hidden, no one knows. So there's a balance. But this is what I really want to harp on, right? If they know that, they're trying to be persuaded, they automatically lose attraction. So I'm going to show you a video. And this is from the pickup art and kind of seducing world. And I want you to take a look at this video where this guy pretty much goes up to this girl and first thing, cold, goes up to this girl. Hey, do you want to go on a date? Right? Hey, do you want to go on a date? Just makes himself known and doesn't stay hidden really and say, hey, how are you? Nice to meet you. Start slow. Build up a little bit. He just started with, hey, here's my offer. Do you want to go on a date? So I want you to look at the reaction once this girl knows she's trying to be persuaded. So you can see that resistance from the females, right? And you may ask, Asha, why are you showing this guy talking to a girl? It's the same thing. It's the exact same thing. It's attraction. It is persuasion. The guy is trying to persuade the girl to go on a date, and she knows that he's trying to persuade, and it becomes kind of like an ick, right? She loses that attraction. Same with marketing. Too much in your face, lose attraction. So pretty much marketing and sales is the same thing as kind of in that sense, talking to females or appealing to that opposite sex, if you're a girl or a guy or whatever. Consumers, in a sense, have that same mindset as a guy going out to a club and the market, right? The sexual market, for example, and trying to get objectives out of the female. If it's a date, if it's a girlfriend, if it's some sort of sexual act, whatever, you get the idea. So all pretty much why this is a very big parallel is appealing emotionally first. Once that's a check, then he can go to logical. So what the guy did in that video I showed you is he went logical. Hey, do you want to go on a date with me? Right? Very logical. Instead of starting emotionally, kind of staying hidden, right? Reptilian brain, remember reptilian brain? Staying hidden, going through that curiosity, right? Appealing through curiosity to the reptilian brain. Appealing here. Once that's in check, then, hey, let's go out on a date, which is more logical, right? Same thing. So for example, appealing emotionally would be, talking. Hey, what's your name? How are you? Joking around a little, making some funny remarks, making a few jokes. And then once that comfort is there, right, and that emotional factor is in check, then that logical element can, subside directly after that. So that is pretty much it. This is a kind of a very interesting video because not a lot of people in the space talk about this sort of stuff. Everyone talks about tactics. This is kind of like a psychology lesson about how to persuade, without people knowing that you're really persuading. So staying hidden and really appearing to be organic, right? Attracting from an organic point through appealing emotionally and staying hidden, right? So this is kind of the takeaway from this. If you're going to remember one thing, I would remember this, which is the reptilian brain and how you have to appeal emotionally first. through new claims and inducing curiosity in order to get to that next level, and doing this same stuff everyone else is doing of going to the market and saying, hey, everyone's doing TikTok short form videos, right? That is just going to lock you in that point where you're not even going to be able to get past that reptilian brain and get people to actually make a logical decision of, hey, yeah, I want to buy your product, or hey, I don't want to buy your product, right? So if you enjoyed the video, that's pretty much it. This is the 4th of the 5-part series. We have one more video after this that we're going to be talking about some really interesting stuff. So stay tuned. And I hope this gave you some insight into how to actually present your offer to the market without coming off as salesy, without coming off as trying to force an agenda, while keeping your reputation in the marketplace, while getting a crap ton of sales. Thank you for watching.